All right, so that's Heska Corp. Um, Here's the next one, and the Joint Corp, and it's another interesting story. It's not a sexy tech name or cloud or biotech. It's just a chiropractic office, right? It's a chain that they're trying to deliver, and you can read this without me reading it, but they're just trying to have create access to chiropractic care via a model which makes ongoing treatment affordable, accessible, and approachable. Um, Yeah, an interesting story. So, I mean, it's $1.2 billion market cap. I've never heard of this before until I started doing some research. The company has experienced 70%, a 70% compounded annual growth rate from 2010 to 2020, which is just remarkable. And similar to HSKA, 2023 is going to be their tipping point. Their goal is to have over 1,000 clinics. Right now, they only have 500. When I say clinics, locations. Right now, they only have 500 plus. And then with that, over 1,000 clinics, it provides a tipping point, or at least that's what the company thinks. They're going to be able to uh, accelerate their marketing and awareness programs. And once you have that scaled, it's more effective and efficient because you're not spending the marketing on 500 locations. Once you get, when the same amount of marketing can be spent when you have 1,000 locations to get a better result. So that's their thought process there. I use the analogy, or at least the comparison. It's like the Domino's Pizza of chiropractic service, or the Planet Fitness. That's kind of what the Joint Corp is. If you take a look at the chiropractic sector as a whole, it's a $16 billion total addressable market, and it's pretty much just one one chiropractic location. It's not a chain. It's not two or three. It's one chiropractor. If I say this enough, I'm gonna get tongue tied. But it's usually not a chain. And right now, the Joint Corp only has 1% of the addressable market. And then the other chains, because there are other chains, but not too many, they control 2%. So there's a huge opportunity for them to really, get some penetration, start stealing some share. And then last but not least is the 10% short interest. I think more of that's a function of how much the company has went up in regards to its stock performance. So here's a crazy revenue growth. So back in 2010, it's a $1.3 million revenue business. And then just look at it explode. So this past year, and this is even with COVID, it still did 260 in 2020. And you have to think a lot of locations weren't open. You couldn't, see patients. I think they're really going to destroy it post-COVID. They're already off to a good start. A huge beat and raise on their last earnings report. And this is the substantial opportunity for market share growth. So right now, the Joint Chiropractic has 220 million in revenue, 1% of the total addressable market. Other chains, 300 million, 2%, and the independents are 15.5. So 97% of those are just one person. And then another kind of interesting tidbit is when you take a look at another kind of another business that I guess you could say is somewhat similar would be dentistry. And right now, dentistry has a 12% percentage of their addressable market is chains. So whether it's apples and oranges, I don't know. It just, to me, it looks like there's an opportunity for a company who can execute well and have a great business model, can do well. So that's kind of the thought process there. So pretty much what they do is you don't have appointments. You don't have to use insurance. It's like a $29.99 a monthly fee, and you show up anytime and they take care of you, as opposed to having to make an appointment, go through your insurance, so on and so forth. And it's a franchise model too. So some of the concerns. So right now, I closed at 83.40. I think 110 plus, 120 maybe by the end of the year. You take a look at some of the concerns would be it's already up 217% so far this year and 416% since the start of 2020. But then you look at that revenue growth, and I said, wow, that can, I think that growth can support a move like that on the stock. I use the analogy with Goosehead last year and C Global the year before. When I had C Global as one of my top 5 stocks, I don't know if it was $30 or $40. The stock was already up a couple 100% the previous year. So if you had just used that as your reference point, and said, wow, it's already up 300%. I'm not going to trade SC Global. I don't think it's going to go higher than you missed a huge run because it was up, whatever, another 500% since then. So hopefully it's the latter with SC Global and it's not a goose head, and it can really start to get going. Last but not least, short report. So anytime you see a short interest over 10%, you have to think some people, maybe they totally disagree. They think it's a fad. There's no moat. It's not. There's too much competition. People like to have their own personal person. I don't know. I'm sure there's a bear case that can be made on the name. So that would be my concern if someone comes out with something. But, I mean, it's very hard to refute the fundamentals. Here's the analyst ratings. $100 price target at Roth Capital. That was the newest. And some of these are older because this is not one of those heavily covered names. So analysts usually don't do too much in the way of price targets and upgrades, downgrades. So B. Riley's at $60, D.A. Davidson 57, and then Maximum 54. And then take a look at the chart here. That's their last earnings. Huge move to the upside. I would not be surprised to see this into the hundreds after its next report. So that is the joint. And then let me get into my last one here. I think we done the last one. Oh no, second to last one. All right, so here we go. So that's that top 5 stock targets, and I kind of already laid them out there. But $60 on Trip, HSKA. That's a huge $100 big move, but I certainly think HSK can move up at least over $300. The Joint Group 110, EXPI to 50, and InMode to 125. So that's it, folks. I try not to go into too much of a rant, and I'll probably, if there's any updates on some of these names, I'll have it on the watch list. And that's it. And probably some of the names I might look to add, at least the Joint Group and HSKA in the first week or two, and then and go from there. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the chat room. Have a great day.